Jordan had always been the type to overthink things, especially when it came to relationships. That's probably why, 8 months into dating Lena, he still found himself second-guessing every little glance or laugh she shared with someone else. Lena was different from anyone he dated before. Fierce, independent, with a laugh that could light up a room or cut through tension like a knife. She worked as a tour guide at Evergreen Lodge, a rustic retreat tucked deep in the misty forests of Washington's Olympic Peninsula. It was the kind of place where city folks like Jordan felt out of their element, surrounded by towering pines and the constant whisper of wind through the branches. Lena had grown up in a world of sharp suits and stock portfolios, her family knee-deep in finance back in Seattle. But she'd bolted from that life after college, trading boardrooms for backcountry trails. "I needed air," she'd told Jordan once, her eyes distant as she stared out over a foggy ridge. Real air, not the recycled stuff in skyscrapers. He admired that about her, even if it meant weekends like this one, driving 2 hours from his apartment in the city to her family's remote cabin for what she called the end-of-season blowout. The cabin wasn't some humble shack. It was a sprawling log structure with vaulted ceilings, a stone fireplace that could swallow a small tree, and enough bedrooms to house a dozen guests comfortably. Lena's parents had bought it as a getaway years ago, but they rarely used it now, too busy jetting off to conferences or whatever high-stakes deals kept them occupied. Their relationship with Lena was complicated. Polite emails, occasional checks in the mail, but no real warmth. Jordan had met them once over a stiff dinner in the city, and it felt more like a job interview than family time. "They're just wired that way," she'd shrugged. "Success over sentiment." This party was her idea, a way to celebrate wrapping up the summer tours with her lodge crew. About 20 people were expected, guides, cooks, even a few repeat guests who'd become friends. Jordan pulled his truck up the gravel drive that afternoon, the tires crunching over fallen needles. Lena was already there, stringing fairy lights along the porch railing, her dark hair tied back in a ponytail that swayed with each movement. She waved him over with a grin, pulling him into a quick hug that smelled like pine sap and sunscreen. "About time you showed up," she teased, her voice light and playful. "I was starting to think you'd bail and leave me to handle this solo." "No way," Jordan replied, kissing her forehead. "I'd miss out on seeing you in hostess mode. Plus, I brought the good whiskey, the kind that doesn't come from a plastic bottle." She laughed, taking the bag from him. "My hero! Help me set up the bonfire pit? The gang's arriving soon, and I want everything perfect." As they worked side by side, stacking wood and arranging chairs in a circle around the pit, Jordan couldn't shake a nagging feeling. Lena had mentioned a new guy at work, Marcus, who joined mid-season. "He's great with the kayaking groups," she'd said offhandedly a few weeks back. "Super outgoing, knows all the best spots." Jordan hadn't pressed, but the way she talked about him stirred something insecure in his chest. He wasn't jealous by nature, or at least he didn't want to be, but Lena's job meant constant interaction with charming adventurers, and Jordan, with his desk job designing logos, sometimes felt like the boring counterpart. By dusk, cars started pulling in, headlights cutting through the gathering twilight. Laughter echoed as people spilled out, carrying coolers and guitars. Riley, Lena's best friend from the lodge, a bubbly redhead with a tattoo of a compass on her wrist, was first through the door. "This place is epic as always," she exclaimed, hugging Lena tightly. "Remember last year's storm? We almost floated away." Lena chuckled. "Don't jinx it. Weather's clear tonight." More arrivals followed, a couple of burly guides named Tom and Elise, who immediately started debating the best hiking routes. A quiet chef, Dario, hauling in trays of marinated skewers for the grill. And then Marcus. He showed up in a beat-up Jeep, his blonde hair tousled, wearing a flannel shirt that looked effortlessly cool. "Lena, killer spot!" he called out, striding over with a case of beer under one arm. He gave her a one-armed hug that lingered just a second too long for Jordan's liking. "Good to see you, man," Marcus said, turning to Jordan with a firm handshake. "Lena's told me all about you. Graphic designer, right? That's awesome. I've got zero creative bone in my body." Jordan forced a smile. "Yeah, keeps me busy. You must have some stories from the trails?" "Oh, tons," Marcus replied, launching into a tale about a bear sighting that had everyone gathered around laughing. Lena's eyes sparkled as she listened, adding her own quips. Jordan hung back, nursing a beer by the fire pit, watching the flames dance. He told himself it was nothing, just friendly banter. But when Marcus slung an arm around Lena's shoulders for a group photo, that knot in his stomach tightened. As the evening wore on, the group migrated inside for snacks and games. The cabin's great room filled with chatter, the air thick with the scent of wood smoke and grilling meat. Jordan stuck close to Lena, but she was in her element, flitting from conversation to conversation. At one point, he caught her checking her phone, her brow furrowing at a text before she shoved it back in her pocket. "Everything okay?" he asked quietly. She nodded quickly. "Just my brother being dramatic. Family stuff, nothing new." Jordan didn't push. Lena's brother Kyle was a sore subject, a perpetual drifter who always seemed one step from trouble. But as the music cranked up and people started dancing, Jordan stepped out onto the porch for a breath of cool air. The forest loomed dark beyond the lights, branches swaying like silent sentinels. That's when he saw it. A faint silhouette at the edge of the trees, motionless, watching the cabin. His heart skipped. Was it an animal? A lost hiker? He stared, willing his eyes to adjust. The figure didn't move, but something about it felt wrong, like it was waiting for the right moment. The party was in full swing now, the cabin pulsing with energy as guests mingled between the great room and the outdoor bonfire. Jordan lingered on the porch a moment longer, his eyes scanning the tree line where the silhouette had been. But whatever, or whoever it was, had vanished into the fog that was starting to roll in from the mountains. He shook his head, chalking it up to nerves or maybe one too many shadows playing tricks. No point ruining the vibe over nothing. He headed back inside, the warmth and noise enveloping him like a blanket. Lena was at the center of it all, pouring drinks behind the makeshift bar they'd set up on the kitchen island. Marcus was right there with her, telling some animated story that had a cluster of people in stitches. And then the kayak flips, right? I'm underwater thinking this is it, when bam, the bear on the shore just stares at me like I'm the idiot. Laughter erupted, Lena's included. She caught Jordan's eye and waved him over. "Join us. Marcus is on a roll with his near-death experiences." Jordan slid into the group, accepting a fresh whiskey from Lena. Up close, Marcus didn't seem so bad. Confident, sure, but not aggressive. Still, the way his gaze lingered on Lena made Jordan's skin prickle. He decided to play it smart, not confrontational. "Sounds intense," Jordan said, clinking glasses with Marcus. "Ever had one where you actually needed rescuing?" He grinned, unfazed. "Nah, I'm more the rescuer type. But hey, let's make this fun. Who's up for truth or dare? Old school, but it never fails to spice things up." Riley jumped in immediately. "I'm game, but no lame questions. Make 'em juicy." The group formed a loose circle by the fireplace, flames crackling as the first rounds kicked off. Tom dared Elise to chug a mystery shot Dario whipped up, which turned out to be mostly hot sauce. Laughter filled the room. When it was Marcus's turn, Riley hit him with a truth. Worst date you've ever been on. He leaned back, thoughtful. Easy. Blind date set up by a buddy. She spent the whole night talking about her ex. Learn my lesson. Stick to people I meet organically. His eyes flicked to Lena for a split second, and Jordan felt that familiar twinge. Lena's turn came next. Marcus dared her. Call someone from your contacts and sing happy birthday to them, no matter who. She rolled her eyes but pulled out her phone, scrolling. Jordan noticed her hesitate over a name, probably Kyle, but finally picked Riley instead. The group howled as Lena belted out an off-key version, Riley pretending to be mortified. But as the game continued, Jordan couldn't ignore how Marcus kept steering questions toward Lena, probing about her life outside work. Seeking a distraction, Jordan excused himself to check the bonfire outside. The night air was cooler now, the fog thickening around the edges of the property. He tossed a log onto the flames, sparks flying up like tiny stars. Riley joined him a minute later, 2 beers in hand. "You okay? You seem a bit distant?" Jordan took the beer, grateful for the company. "Yeah, just not big on crowds sometimes. Lena's crew is great, though." Riley nodded, staring into the fire. "She's lucky to have you. Marcus is harmless, you know, just a flirt. But, hey, speaking of weird stuff, you hear about those cabin break-ins around here? Locals say it's squatters from the old mining trails. Stole some jewelry from a place up the road last month." Jordan's mind flashed to the silhouette. "Really? Any details?" "Not much. They hit when owners are away, grab valuables quick. Uncle Vic mentioned it earlier. He's Lena's mom's brother, right? The guy with the stories. Said to keep doors locked." Uncle Vic was inside now, regaling a small group with tales of his days as a fisherman. He was in his 60s, weathered face framed by a gray beard, always carrying a flask he claimed was medicinal. He had met him briefly at a family gathering. The man was eccentric, but harmless. Back inside, the energy had shifted to dancing, someone cranking up a playlist on the speakers. Lena pulled Jordan onto the makeshift dance floor, a cleared space by the windows. "Come on, loosen up," she whispered, her hands on his shoulders. He tried, swaying to the beat, but his mind wandered. That's when he overheard Lena on her phone in the hallway, her voice low and tense. "Kyle, not now. I told you, I can't bail you out again. Those debts are yours to fix." She hung up abruptly, spotting Jordan. "Sorry, family drama. Brother's in a bind, again." "What's going on?" Jordan asked, concern creeping in. She sighed. "Old stuff. He borrowed money he shouldn't have. Nothing I can't handle." But her eyes darted away, and Jordan wondered what she wasn't saying. As the night wore on, the cabin grew louder, bottles clinking, stories flowing. Marcus challenged Jordan to a friendly arm wrestle at the kitchen table, which Jordan won narrowly, earning a slap on the back. "Good arm, man. No hard feelings." It felt like a truce, but Jordan wasn't convinced. Then a flicker. The porch lights dimmed for a second, then steadied. "Power surge?" someone joked. Jordan glanced out the window, the fog now a thick blanket swallowing the trees. He stepped to the back door for a look, twisting the knob. It swung open easily, unlocked. "Hey, who left this open?" he called out. No one owned up to it. The group shrugged it off as party chaos, but Jordan's pulse quickened. He locked it firmly, peering into the mist. Was that a rustle in the bushes, or just the wind? The fog clung to everything like a living thing, muting the party's noise as Jordan stood at the back door, staring out. He told himself it was nothing, The door probably popped open from someone grabbing ice or wood, but Riley's story about break-in... Good? Yeah, Jordan lied, forcing a smile. Just needed a breather. This fog's intense. Feels like we're in a horror movie. She laughed. Welcome to the peninsula. It rolls in fast. Come on, let's grab some air out front, away from the smoke. They slipped out the front door, the porch light casting a soft glow on the gravel drive. The air was crisp, carrying the scent of damp earth and pine. Lena leaned against the railing, tilting her head back to look at the stars peeking through the haze. Thanks for coming tonight. I know it's not your scene, but it means a lot. Jordan wrapped an arm around her. Wouldn't miss it. Your friends are fun. Marcus included, I guess. She raised an eyebrow. Jealous? A little, but I'm working on it. Before she could respond, a twig snapped in the darkness beyond the light's reach. Jordan tensed, peering into the fog. There it was again, the silhouette from earlier, standing at the property's edge, near where the drive met the forest road. It was unmistakably human, still as a statue. You see that? Jordan whispered. Lena squinted. What? An animal? No, stay here. Liquid courage, or stupidity, pushed him forward. He walked down the steps, heart pounding. Hey, can I help you? The figure shifted, taking a few deliberate steps closer. Now Jordan could make out details. A man, mid-40s maybe, wearing a dark jacket and jeans, face obscured by a hood and the dim light. He stopped just outside the porch glow. Are the owners home? The man asked, his voice gravelly like he'd smoked a pack a day for years. Jordan's skin crawled. It wasn't just the question, it was the certainty behind it, as if he already knew. Who are you? The man ignored him. The Harrisons, are they around? Got something for them. Lena's last name was Harrison. How did the stranger know? Jordan glanced back at Lena, who'd followed part way. They're inside, he bluffed. What do you need? The man nodded slowly. Okay, tell him hi. He turned and melted into the fog. Footsteps fading down the road. No car engine, no lights. Just gone. Jordan hurried back to Lena. That was weird. He knew your family's name. She frowned. Probably a neighbor or something. Dad knows people from his old deals. Let's not freak out. Party's still going. Back inside, Jordan couldn't shake the unease. He confided in Riley over by the snack table. Some guy outside asking about the Harrisons knew they might not be here. Riley's eyes widened. Like the break-in stories? Squatters scout places. Tell Uncle Vic, he's paranoid about that stuff. Uncle Vic was nursing his flask in an armchair. Stranger, eh? Described like a ghost in the mist? He chuckled, but his eyes were serious. This area's got history. Old miners' cabins, folks down on luck. Lock up tight, kid. Marcus overheard, joining them. Need backup? I can check the perimeter. Jordan hesitated, then nodded. Sure, but let's not alarm everyone. The two stepped out, flashlights from their phones cutting through the fog. The property seemed quiet, no signs of disturbance. Lena's cool, Marcus said suddenly. You're lucky. Yeah, Jordan replied, guarded. What's your deal with her? Marcus shrugged. Just friendly, but if you're worried, I'm backing off. No drama intended. It felt sincere, easing some tension. Back inside, they found the group starting a card game. Jordan tried to relax, but Lena pulled him aside. About earlier, my family? We've had money issues. Dad invested bad. Kyle made it worse with loans. That's why the texts. Didn't want to drag you in. Jordan squeezed her hand. You can tell me anything. She smiled faintly. I know, just hate the mess. The night deepened, fog pressing against the windows like curious fingers. Creaks from the old cabin blended with laughter, but Jordan stayed alert. Then the doorbell chimed, sharp and unexpected. Everyone had been told to use the side path. The front was overgrown and rarely used. "Who's that?" Dario asked. Jordan's stomach dropped. "I'll check." He approached the door, peering through the peephole. No one visible in the fog. Heart racing, he cracked it open, the chime echoing in his mind like a warning. Jordan swung the door wider, the fog swirling in like an uninvited guest. The porch was empty, no footsteps retreating, no car idling. Just the distant hoot of an owl and the rustle of leaves. He stepped out, flashlight beam sweeping the drive. "Hello?" His voice echoed back, swallowed by the mist. Nothing. He locked the door firmly and turned back inside, where the group had paused the card game. "Probably kids pranking," he said, trying to sound casual. But his pulse thrummed, memories of the stranger fresh. Lena met his eyes, concern flickering. "You sure?" "Yeah, let's keep the fun going." The party resumed, but Jordan's mind raced. He wandered upstairs to the hallway bathroom, splashing water on his face. The mirror reflected his tense expression, bags under his eyes from the drive and drinks. As he dried off, a faint thump came from down the hall, like a drawer closing softly. Curious, he peeked out. The master bedroom door, Lena's parents' room, was ajar, light spilling from within. He hadn't noticed anyone go up. "Hello?" he called quietly. Pushing the door open, his breath caught. The room was a disaster. Drawers yanked out, contents spilled across the floor. Jewelry boxes lay empty on the dresser, their velvet linings bare. The closet doors gaped, clothes tossed aside. A safe in the back cracked open with papers fluttering out. "What the?" Jordan muttered, stepping in. His foot crunched on shattered glass from a fallen frame. A shadow moved in the mirror's reflection, quick, darting behind him. He spun, but too late. The intruder lunged, tackling him to the ground. Air whooshed from Jordan's lungs as they hit the carpet. The man, the same hooded figure from outside, straddled him, hands clawing at Jordan's pockets like searching for something. "Get off!" Jordan gasped, panic surging. He bucked, shoving with all his strength. The intruder tumbled back, scrambling up. Jordan lunged forward, grabbing at the man's jacket. "Who are you?" The intruder twisted free, bolting for the open window. He dove out head first, landing on the sloped roof below with a heavy thud. Jordan rushed to the sill, seeing him slide down and drop into the side yard bushes. Footsteps pounded away into the fog. Breathing hard, he leaned against the frame, processing. The room reeked of sweat and desperation. He fumbled for his phone. No signal bars. Damn mountains. Downstairs, he burst into the great room. Someone just broke in, upstairs, robbed the master bedroom. Chaos erupted. Guests jumped up, voices overlapping. "Call the cops! What happened?" Lena pushed through, face pale. "Jordan, are you okay?" "Yeah. Guy tackled me, escaped out the window." Marcus was at his side in seconds. "I saw movement outside earlier. Let's check the yard." They grabbed flashlights and hurried out, Riley tagging along. The fog made visibility near zero, but they found footprints in the mud leading toward the woods. "He's gone," Marcus said, shining his light on broken branches. "Fast bastard." Back inside, Lena surveyed the damage upstairs, her expression hardening. Mom's jewelry, Dad's documents. This wasn't random. Riley spotted something on the floor, a crumpled note half under the bed. She unfolded it. "Pay what's owed, or next time it's more than trinkets. R." "R?" Jordan asked. "Related to Kyle's debts?" Lena sighed, sinking onto the bed. Maybe. Kyle borrowed from some rough people last year. Thought it was settled. Uncle Vic appeared in the doorway, flask in hand. Heard the commotion. This reeks of payback. Your brother's always been sloppy. The group gathered downstairs as Jordan tried his phone again. Spotty signal, but enough to dial 911. We need police at Evergreen Cabin Road. Burglary in progress. Intruder fled. While waiting, tension simmered. Dario passed out water, trying to calm nerves. Marcus pulled Jordan aside. That guy, was he looking for something specific? Seemed like it, grabbed at me like I had it. Lena joined them, voice shaky. I should have told you more. Family's in deep. That investments, loans. Kyle dragged us in. Jordan hugged her. We'll figure it out. Sirens wailed in the distance, growing closer. Lights flashed through the windows as 2 squad cars pulled up. Officers stepped in, notebooks ready. Everyone stay put. Who's the homeowner? Lena explained, leading them upstairs. Jordan gave his statement, describing the scuffle. One cop, a young woman, nodded. Matches reports of a drifter in the area, but this note suggests motive. As they questioned guests, Jordan noticed Uncle Vic slipping out for air. Odd timing. When the cops asked for his alibi, he claimed he'd been in the kitchen the whole time, but Dario shook his head. Nah, you were upstairs earlier. Vic's face tightened. Must be mistaken. The lead officer eyed him. Stick around, sir. We have questions. Jordan's mind whirled. Was Vic involved? The night had shattered into suspicion, and as the police dusted for prints, he wondered who else was hiding secrets. Rain began pattering against the cabin roof as the police wrapped their initial sweep, turning the fog into a steady downpour that isolated the property further. Guests huddled in the great room, the party's remnants, empty bottles, scattered cards, now feeling like relics of a different night. Jordan sat with Lena on the couch, her head on his shoulder, while officers bagged evidence upstairs. Detective Harlan, a burly man with a mustache that looked like it belonged in an old western, took charge. He'd arrived shortly after the uniforms, his truck sloshing through the mud. Been with the department 20 years, he said, shaking Jordan's hand. Know the Harrisons well. Your folks helped fund the lodge back in the day, Lena. She nodded wearily. Yeah. What do you think happened? Targeted hit. That note's a clue. R, ring a bell? Lena hesitated. Maybe? My brother Kyle's had dealings with a guy named Rocco, loan shark type. Kyle's in Seattle, but he owes big. Harlan's eyes narrowed. We'll check him out. Anyone else with grudges? Uncle Vic shifted uncomfortably in his chair. Family's got enemies from bad deals, but I ain't involved. The detective turned to him. Where were you during the break-in? Down here, chatting? Vic insisted. But Elise piped up. I saw you head upstairs about 10 minutes before Jordan yelled. Vic's face reddened. Needed the bathroom, that's all. Harlan made a note. Gambling debts, Mr. Vic? Word is you're in deep with the casino crowd. Vic stood abruptly. This is bull. I'm family. Why would I rob my own kin? Sit down, Harlan ordered. You're not going anywhere till we sort this. Jordan watched the exchange, pieces clicking. He pulled Lena aside to the kitchen. Vic's acting shady. And Kyle, why didn't you mention Rocco before? She rubbed her temples. Didn't want to worry you. Kyle swore it was handled, but after tonight, I don't know. Their argument bubbled up. You keep saying that, Jordan. Secrets like this, they put everyone at risk. I got tackled because of your family's mess. Lena's eyes flashed. "My family? You're judging us like you're perfect. Your job's safe, no drama, must be nice." "I'm here for you, but trust goes both ways." Marcus interrupted, carrying coffee mugs. "Hey, ease up. Tonight's rough on everyone. Jordan, I got your back. Let's focus on facts." Jordan nodded, but grateful, but surprised. "Thanks. Didn't expect that."
"People surprise you," Marcus said with a wink. "Lena's tough, but she needs support." As the rain intensified, Harlan gathered statements. Jordan mentioned the stranger's earlier visit, knew the family name, asked if owners were home. "Scouting," Harlan mused. "We'll run prints." Riley approached Jordan quietly. "I snooped a bit, found this in the safe remnants." She handed him a crumpled receipt for a wire transfer, signed by Kyle to R Investments. "Proof," Jordan whispered. "Kyle's tied in." He showed Lena, who deflated. "I'll call him, make him come clean." But cell service was spotty from the storm. Harlan used his radio to contact Seattle PD for a welfare check on Kyle. Hours ticked by, guests dozing or chatting in low tones. Jordan explored the safe's contents, more documents, bank statements showing massive withdrawals, emails about relocating assets. Lena's family wasn't just in trouble, they were hiding money, maybe illegally. Vic knew, Jordan realized. That's why he's nervous. Confronting Vic in the hallway, Jordan said, "Level with us. You in on this?" Vic sighed, defeated. "Not robbing, but I borrowed from Kyle's contacts. Thought the cabin had cash stashed." Before Jordan could respond, Harlan called out, "Prints match a known associate, Rocco's enforcer. And Vic, your name's on a debtor list." Vic bolted for the door, but Marcus tackled him. "Not so fast." As officers cuffed Vic, Jordan felt a mix of relief and betrayal. But digging deeper into the safe, he found a hidden compartment, empty, but with a label, insurance policy. What had been inside, and who really took it? The storm raged on, thunder rumbling like an omen. With Vic in cuffs, the cabin felt smaller, the rain hammering like accusations. Harlan hauled him to a squad car, Vic muttering denials. "I didn't steal nothing, just looked around." "Save it for the station," Harlan grunted, slamming the door. Inside, the remaining guests buzzed with shock. Lena paced, phone in hand, as service flickered back. "Kyle's not answering. This is bad." Jordan comforted her. "We'll get answers. That's safe. Those documents scream laundering." Riley nodded. "Lodge funds? Your folks invested heavy. Maybe they funneled dirty money through tours?" Detective Harlan returned, wiping rain from his coat. Vic singing already. Says Kyle set up loans with Rocco, used cabin as collateral, but the intruder's still out there. Marcus cleared his throat. "About that, I need to come clean." He pulled out a badge from his pocket. "I'm undercover, Fish and Wildlife, but moonlighting for fraud unit. Posed as a guide to watch the lodge. Suspected money washing." Jordan stared. "You? The flirting was what, cover?" Marcus shrugged. "Partly. Needed to get close to Lena. Sorry, no real crush. But the rivalry kept you distracted while I snooped." Lena's jaw dropped. "You used us?" "Protected you," Marcus corrected. "Knew Rocco's crew was circling. That note, I planted a fake to flush him out." Twist hit Jordan like a gut punch. "So the burglary? Was it staged?" "No," Marcus said. "Real. But I tipped off Harlan. The safe's insurance policy? Proof of laundering. Emails, ledgers. I took it earlier, safe kept." Harlan confirmed. "We're building a case. Your brother, Lena, he's the linchpin." Lena dialed Kyle again, this time connecting. "What the hell? Cabin robbed? Vic arrested? Rocco?"
Kyle's voice crackled. "Sis? I'm sorry. Got in over my head. Rocco wants his cut. I hid docs in the safe. Thought they'd be safe." "You idiot!" Lena yelled. "People got hurt!" Thunder boomed, lights flickering. A crash from outside, glass shattering. Jordan rushed to the window, the intruder, drenched, smashing a side pane. "He's back!" Jordan shouted. Chaos. Guests scattered, Harlan drawing his gun. The man burst in, wild-eyed. "Where's the policy? Rocco needs it!" Marcus tackled him, but the intruder fought fierce, knocking over furniture. Jordan joined him, grabbing a fire poker. Riley screamed as a lamp shattered. In the melee, the intruder elbowed Marcus, lunging for Lena. "You Harrison's Oh!" Jordan swung the poker, clipping the man's shoulder. He howled, stumbling. Harlan cuffed him. "You're done." Panting, Jordan asked, "Why return?" "Missed the hidden stash," the man spat. "Rocco said, 'Finish it.'" With the intruder secured, truths poured out. Marcus revealed the policy implicated Lena's parents, too. They'd skimmed lodge profits to cover Kyle's debts. Lena broke down. "I suspected, but denied it. I'm sorry, Jordan." He held her. "We'll face it together." Police carted the intruder away, storm easing. Lena vowed to cooperate, cutting family ties if needed. Marcus apologized. "You two are solid. Helped crack this." As dawn broke, fog lifting, Jordan and Lena stood on the porch. Bonds stronger, but shadows lingered. Kyle promised to turn himself in, but a final email on Lena's phone hinted at more accomplices. Was it over? Or just beginning?
The morning after brought a fragile calm, sunlight piercing the remaining clouds as police vans departed. The cabin bore scars, broken glass swept, furniture righted, but the emotional wreckage lingered. Jordan helped Lena pack evidence boxes for Harlan, their movements synchronized in quiet understanding. "Kyle's at the station now," Lena said, taping a box, "turning over everything. Parents are flying back. Gonna be a mess." Jordan nodded. "You did right. Cooperating shows strength." She smiled weakly. "Thanks to you. I was blind to the red flags. Your caution saved us." Riley hugged them goodbye. "Stay in touch. This bonds people." Marcus shook Jordan's hand. "No hard feelings. Job's job, but you're good folk." "Water under," Jordan replied. Uncle Vic, released on bail but facing charges, slunk away without a word. As guests left, Jordan and Lena walked the property, rain-fresh air cleansing. "This changes us," Jordan reflected. "Trust deeper now." Lena agreed. Quitting the lodge, maybe start something new. Together, city life? He grinned. "Sounds good." But hindsight nagged. How close danger came, how secrets nearly broke them. The ordeal revealed resilience, turning crisis to connection, yet a lingering text from an unknown number, not over yet. Fog might lift, but echoes remained.